current meta. I wonder what TT is actually going to prioritize right here. I'm assuming something like the way Ucal has been very, very good on the champion. He can create a lot of priority. The team fights look insane. Every time you have priority in these neutral objectives, no one can cross away. However, the Rumble has also been a big talking point, and it's going to be that one.
A Hoya special, but when he can be special, I guess, to some extent. I think TT have maybe not had as many special moments over recency, but still something I'm really excited for when he brings it out, even though he doesn't play it that often. He also, unfortunately, I was looking at this before the series itself because I was taking note of some stats for players, but he also has a 0% win rate on it. But it's more so about what.
So
he
how
provides.
is this? Okay, hold on.
Because
how is this someone's special champ if they have 0% win rate?
Because that's what
Elaborate.
that's what I want to have a conversation about. Is like the pressure that he can provide in the top lane 1v1 itself. I think is super crucial for how TT play. But again, the problem we've seen with TT is always mid game, late game decision making. But when he has his pressure on the Rumble, it is in that early game, and it gives them so many more options moving forward. So that's why I like this pick, and Hoya specifically on it for TT, who again also has been a long-standing member. But unfortunately, Skarner gets locked in on the other side. We've seen Rumble pretty good into it, but still a S tier pick.
Also, I do consider Rumble still a flex pick. We have seen it a lot towards the bottom of the map. As I was about to say, with the likes of a Varus or a Kalista, it could very easily be a flex. Towards the bot side, a very heavy kill lane, if you will. Lots of poke coming in through Varus Rumble. So you could potentially go towards something like this. Yone getting locked in for Ucal as well. And we're going to see potentially an AD carry maybe locked in, or a pairing for Cryin in the mid lane. I would love to see Jiejie in something like a Xin Zhao release in, a little bit more active in the early game, getting that early going for EDG.
There it is. He's going to go ahead and lock that one in. A lot of proactivity on the side of EDG. I'm so terrified. The amount of like mobility out of their solo lanes to go join up with Jiejie is absolutely terrifying. We're going to have to see if the Yone can do what Yones have done in the LPL and just win after 25 minutes, but we're going in the second phase of bans. It is the brand immediately targeted by EDG. Those jungle bans are going to keep flying, I'm sure.
I'm not going to lie to you. You said win after 25 minutes. There's another champion that comes to mind that pairs up really nicely with the likes of Yone, and that's a Karthus.
True.
So Beichuan has actually been very prominent. He really likes the Karthus. He's picked it twice so far in the entire split. And there's also Lilia. There are two AP junglers off the back of my head that can work very well. Now, the third one is Diana as well. We haven't seen it as much, I would say, but I feel like the pairing of Varus, Rumble, and Yone could be very, very good with the likes of something like a Diana.
I really like their team fighting because the lockdown plus the red carpet being dragged out, right? That's going to feel really nice, at least for the team fighting potential of TT. Now, I think the Leona is actually a really powerful ban here. I think there's still a lot of options in that vein, but actually just giving away those go buttons that the Solar Flare provides, I think is really good.
I wonder if they're going to be going with support right here, because Leona is out. Nautilus has already been played, so not in the plate for EDG to be able to pick that again due to Fearless. And that is a very weird decision. We don't necessarily see 80 carries being picked as R5. Usually this is the type of champion that you would sacrifice and be like, yeah, that's your job, take it or leave it, you know? And it's picked up usually R4, so you can counter-pick support. But no, you don't have many choices here for EDG. They want to lock in more of an engaged support in the likes of early on.
The Lilia was the expected AP jungler left open to be picked. Beichuan going to be piloting that one. The clear speed is super important, but Jiejie is going to be looking to try to get a little bit of a wrench in the works with that one. The Nautilus, a likely pickup here. Good front line, good engage, good setup for what the composition provides for TT.
I really like the fact that Lilia gets locked in here. You're playing into triple melee champion. It's usually very easy to hit with abilities to follow up with the ultimate. So Beichuan could have a pretty peachy or rough time, depending on how deep you go into these melee champions as well, especially when they want to pinpoint you and kill you. And ooh, I'm loving this Jackie Love Worlds 2019 special here. 2018, sorry, special here with the Kai'Sa flying straight into that backline. You do have a lot of targets actually here, mind you. The Rumble, the Lilia, the Varus, all very squishy. You could be flying into the backline together with something like a Lee Sin. It looks very aggressive from the side of EDG.
Yeah, I really like the way their comp kind of aligns because you're going to have so much focus towards topside, right? Like it's going to be Cryin, Solokill, and Jiejie with a little bit of help at least from Wink himself, but they're going to be roaming around. You're going to be trying to get to a point where you have strength of the Kai'Sa, but it's really going to be about the solo lane helping out Jiejie get a lead, where the other side feels a little bit different here in the way they can approach like the objectives and things.
Rumble is the name of the game to keep your eyes on, especially since you mentioned objectives. Again, I want to see TT with a little bit more bite. In game number 1, they had a fantastic poke composition. Their engage was a little bit, situational because it was a little bit too far straightforward. Just having the Alistar, you see champion, you CC champion in front of you. However, right here, TT, you need a little bit more proactivity, a little bit more willingness to fight for those neutral objectives.
The final series of round 1 of the double round robin for either one of these two teams. EDG took a triumphant start to the series. We're going to see if TT can bounce back here. Got a little bit more activity to show and more cohesion between Beichuan and Ucal. EDG looking like an unbeatable team here so far tonight. We'll see if this composition continues that. When Faker's looking down on the competition, you know everything's going to be all right.
You know what? I'm going to test you a little bit before it shows on screen. You know how I mentioned the Jiejie Love special? Mm-hmm. Do you know what Leave's skin is this game?
What could it possibly be? Could it possibly be IG Kai'Sa?
Hey. It was mentioned, he delivered, He's like, you know what? Whenever I think of Kai'Sa, I think of Jiejie Love. Works for me.
True. Hey, it works, I guess. Also, these level 1s work pretty well to get you a little bit of an advantage over the map. I think the biggest importance is also just kind of following through with this, which they're doing right now, as we look to be getting a bit of a lane swap situation here.
Okay, so usually these lane swaps happen very early on to create advantages on the map, just for the very early levels. And especially right here, they can actually pull this off from the side of EDG. This is the second time they actually pull this off. Jiejie, yeah, he got his own jungle over a support, Nautilus, that was in there.
Hey, he didn't have smite, that was dicey, all right?
I'm sure it was. Alright, so the reason the lane swap happened right here is because obviously Solokill on a tank, he'll get his tank items later on. However, we mentioned earlier that one of your win conditions is playing around neutral objectives, so having Rumble around those neutral objectives, especially towards the top side, which is the Void Grubs, could be huge for the success in those early fights for TT. However, EDG again with another lane swap, they're pretty much defeating the purpose of having that Rumble towards the top lane, because this Rumble has not gotten a single bit of CS or experience.
And we'll see now, actually, if we get that early opt-out of the lane swap. I think EDG are perfectly fine with the setup they have right here. Varus has been so ridiculous. We've seen it banned so often. But I think the biggest importance is kind of keep a side-eye on this mid lane. I think it meant a lot last game for Cryin on the Tristana to continually bully Ucal over and over again. And I think that might be the case on the other end this time around, at least early.
Until you have some sort of mana item on Hoya, you gotta burn a lot of mana to push down those waves. Again, this is the difference between AD champions and AP champions, right? Usually an AP champion would have to burn through their mana really quickly, which means that a lost chapter or a tier would be needed until you can very easily clear out those waves. Whilst AD champions, even melee AD champions like the Yone, he also has a bunch of abilities that can do AoE to the wave. It takes a little bit for you to be able to push that one out. Again, level 3 is usually what you're looking for the swaps to start coming through. Secondary plating from the top side of the map as well, and pretty much everything will go back to normal lanes.
Normal, huh? Normal.
What is normal anymore?
What is normal?
What is normal anymore?
We are looking at a trade of the Scuttle Crabs, though, it looks like, as we'll actually get an early back from Jiejie. As objectives will be spawning at least Dragon in sub-minute. You do expect EDG to try to, now that they've readapted down that way, contest this first objective.
I don't know about that on the side of EDG. The call purchased right there from Leave as well. Yeah, we've got another 10-ish minutes, I would say.
Start the timer
until
now.
that one, until that one is all stacked up and ready and all cashed out. 1xN, you can all walk up onto that wave. However, this wave is going to slow push towards 1xN as well, so they shouldn't have a problem with this. And as you can see on the map, Jiejie is also pathing towards the top side of the map, so there is no dive on the way.
Interesting. So they're going to leave the pressure they had on bot side with Link and Leave. Try to maybe go towards the other side. Could be looking at the early trade. Again, this has been kind of EDG's style so far tonight as well. And so far tonight, the split is kind of sitting back and relaxing until you make a mess up, but continuing to drive towards their goal, which is get Jiejie ahead in any way possible.
When remember that flash that was missing on Hoya earlier on.
Ixtal's impact will bring you back like that, Hoya. Got to be careful. He has no flash, and he is dead. First blood right to the money man.
Incredible. So well at weighing down the possibilities on the map. They see numbers advantage, they attack. They see Summoner's deficit, they attack. EDG swapped for that reason, to try and take that Rumble down early on. They took his flash, they punished the flash, because again, we mentioned the call coming out from Leave onto this Kai'Sa that indicates that EDG does not want to fight early on towards that bot side of the map. So very wisely, Jiejie went towards the top side of the map. They utilized the CC kit onto the Skarner to punish a flashless Rumble.
And I'm not going to lie, I think okay, they're going to get the flash out of Cryin there. That's actually really big and something to return to.
Basic ability, by the way.
Jiejie is going to be pushed out of this grub take, so that's actually really big. Solokill is going to come down, but you've got multiple members of TT moving over here. So EDG will get one of those. That next grub fight will be heavily contested by both sides, no doubt.
Absolutely, they both want the 4. This is where the Void might start coming out. Beichuan is going to secure 2 here. And very quick movements on the map by TT. They literally went from neutral objective to neutral objective. Oh no, why are you doing dirty like this?
He's a Scorpion.
This is Skarner, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, this is Skarner.
Hi, Skarner.
No flash on Rumble, unfortunate, but very good punish again from EDG. Grabbing that first kill on the map. First blood onto the Lee Sin has secured him a pickaxe. Makes him pretty strong right now in taking these trades. However, again, TT are going to take double neutral objectives on the map. They run straight from Dragon all the way to the top side. Very good punish onto Cryin, overextending. That flash is now down. He needs to be so respectful. Reminder, it was a basic ability from Yone that forced Crying's flash. So Cryin needs to be extra cautious walking up for those CS.
And that power point I was talking about, getting that early pressure in top side, it's not going to be there anymore. So it's going to be harder for TT to find good map movements around. But the big thing they have going for them is the clear speed of Lilia. That ends up going ludicrous speed. If you get that reference, you might be a little too old, but it's fine. I think they're going to continue being okay and kind of biding their time here for TT to try to get Beichuan in a point of power.
Yeah, very close to that first item. Most likely be the Leandris right here. A lot of the champions went towards the Blackfire Torch. However, this item is very strong in terms of the raw numbers, but it also helps you clear fast. We mentioned how Lilia clears fast anyway. So going towards a Leandris gives her a lot more battle stats, if you will, to try and take those fights around objectives. And especially since you mentioned that, hey, TT already have 2 Void Grabs, you would want to fight towards the top side. You've got the Rumble as well. You could be very strong. I really doubt that EDG are actually going to be heavily contesting that, especially since, again, Leave with the call. He's not going to be joining anytime soon the shenanigans of EDG, so you're probably going to be taking a man down on those fights.
Yeah.
And TT are definitely going to be wanting those extra mites attacking those towers, especially since Ucal on the Yone could be a very strong split pushing power later on.
Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit more because I think machinations for EDG are going well. You're getting Jiejie active on the map. Now mid lane, Cryin has a little bit more push priority against Ucal. I think you can have a little it go back and forth, but you're not at a point where Ucal is going to have constant pressure on him. And I think they need to enable something in mid lane for TT.
they need somebody to help Cryin with this wave because it's at such a bad state. Frozen in front of Ucal's tower. And again, you're playing an immobile champion in the likes of Wei. Oh,
Impale.
grabbed again.
Gonna run
That's
back.
a flash.
Ixtal's impact going back. They're gonna try to get the kick here potentially. Hoya burning. He's trying to get it back. Flame Splitter out. Jiejie gets the kill. Beichuan gonna put them all to sleep. He wants the blood and he's gonna get Jiejie. Now he's got those speedy prances. He's looking for Solokill now too. But there's another four-legged beast and it's Wink who comes and defends it.
Okay, how many do we have with 4 legs in this game? I think it's like 2.
There's one with 8.
Again, a very proactive.
So that's two
very proactive
four-legged.
play from EDG. Yeah. Proactive play from EDG will give the Eclipse towards Jiejie as well. That is actually pretty huge considering the Void Grub's coming up in 25 seconds. Having that Eclipse is such a huge power spike for your Lee Sin fighting towards that top side.
Feels like we got a little bit of an island bot side here. Wonder how they're doing. We're getting close to first items for them as well. They'll get a little bit more impact as we go because we have that next grub spawn here that we talked so much about after this replay.
Oh, Lord. There's so much CC on this champion. The ultimate right there into the shove back towards Jiejie. I'm like, it's fine. He has flash. He uses flash literally point blank onto the Lee Sin, but he buys, very importantly, enough time for Beichuan to come in and secure a kill for himself. So technically, this was a 1-for-1, both kills going towards the junglers. And TT, again, we mentioned how Leave is not going to be leaving that bot lane anytime soon. Having invested in a call, you know you're not going to be fighting TT anytime soon if you're EDG, and TT are going to be securing those Void Mites for later on shoves on towers.
And that big trade is actually, I feel like, going the way of TT, because if they win a big team fight, which their comp excels at, you know, post 20-25 minutes, I think they'll be able to push down very, very fast. The question being if they can wrestle control of some of those objectives away from EDG. We have a lot of really good pick potential if you're out positioned.
Yeah, and it was also a pretty good move to trade objectives right here for EDG. They don't want to be finding themselves in a situation where all the neutral objectives go to the side of the TT, and then they're forced to fight on power spikes that they're not satisfied with. Again, Kraken Slayer already completed right now for Kai'Sa. You're going to be seeing Leave join a bunch of those fights pretty soon as the focus of the map switches to the top side of the map with both bot lanes headed towards that side.
Just moving around the goal a little bit. Still got plays for a couple more minutes. See if he wants to get a little bit of that. Oh, we're going to keep it top.
Oh.
Because we want fisticuffs. They last game didn't have enough kills. Solokill's going to come in, smash him straight into the wall, and 1xN is down.
You know what? Lil Bro had flash, he had cleanse, but when you see Skarner, you just accept it. You just accept it. There is no point burning any summoner. Again, such great proactive plays, and I feel like the entire map has been dictated by Solokill and Jiejie this time around. We mentioned how Cryin was so pivotal in game number 1. However, again, prioritizing Solokill in terms of the lane swaps, the way they move him around the map, the way they utilize the Skarner kit in general has been so great for EDG. First item completed also for Solokill as well, and he did get MVP in game number 1. I think if this performance continues here in game number 2, he might be getting another one soon.
I'm just saying, letting Skarner make it through at a game 2 when your back's against the wall is probably not the greatest out.
Hey, they had B1, Mazel.
Is a great champ. Solokill's been great, but the fact that he's been able to connect the Ixtal's impact while within Rumble without Rumble having a chance to walk away is insanity, and it makes this lane so difficult if you don't have pressure, and the team is not playing towards him, so it makes it that much more difficult.
Yeah, and especially when you're down summoners every single time. I feel Jiejie and Solokill have been punishing heavily whenever Hoya needs to push in a wave. You see that Jiejie is around. They punish his flash over and over again, and when you have a flashless Rumble, there is not much you can do. We mentioned how, hey, Lilia really thrives having a lot of champions that are around her, right? She can get more damage down, she can get very easy ultimates by hitting multiple people. However, getting too close, the sun can burn you, and Solokill's Skarner right here is the sun for TT. So you can't get too close or you're going to end up being punished. Right here, TT have to very carefully, I want to say, choose their battles because their front line is heavily lacking. At this point, EDG could even pick onto the Nautilus and just take him completely out of the picture, which means TT cannot walk up if they don't have their front line.
It's going to be very difficult. Ucal still saving grace. At some point in this game, he's going to be able to 100-0. Leave and cry.
Someone.
Somebody. One of those two people. We'll see if it actually happens, though. TT maybe a little bit extended up here. As EDG was looking to make a play. Toto is going to walk straight in. They are going to be there, but not going to take the engage just yet. Rift Herald has been started. Beichuan feeling confident. He's going to start it up.
Cryin does have TP. He's going to shove in that bot lane wave.
Maybe it's Solokill that he could just 100-0. Takes about half his health there. Beichuan is also pretty heavily ahead, at least in terms of the CS department. Toto's going to take that spiraling despair from Cryin. Oh, Jiejie tries to get it. Rift Herald goes the way of Beichuan. TT making moves.
For TT, that was pretty successful right here. They managed to get the TP off of Cryin as well without necessarily investing anything. And remember the 100% to 0 that Yone can do on certain champions? If he can pull this off versus the champion that's been so heavily fed on the side of EDG, which is the Skarner, Ucal, no.
Oh, he's going to try to get out. Actually, might be able to. Oh, Solokill.
Still has the ult.
For the double there. Okay, now Jiejie is the one in trouble. He's going to get the lilting lullaby used. There's the speed sealed, and it's that for Jiejie. The Impale comes in. Ucal going to burn his flash to try to get away, taking a couple turret shots, but Jiejie maybe eats a little bit of aggressiveness.
Yeah, great turnaround by TT right here, using the power of the Yone. I guess you were talking about 25 minutes in. Well, the power spike is Blade of the Ruin King, apparently. It's good enough. Rift Herald now is going to be used. Numbers advantage for TT. The bite that we wanted is actually coming through from their mid lane and jungle. We highlighted them at the very, very start of the series, and so far it's been coming through. Jiejie is going to ride the Rift Herald, just going to do half the tower's damage, and that's going to be it. But again, a proactive play from TT, we absolutely take those.
Yeah, and you have to remember, the reason why we look towards this TT roster as maybe having a little bit more hope than some more other of the bottom tier teams is because they have stuck with this roster, at least the majority of it, for a long time, right? The top trio, Hoya, Beichuan, Ucal, they've all been here for 2 years, and I think this developmental style of their play has been hard to watch in some instances, but we're starting to see some of it come through. You give Ucal the stick to the Yone, maybe magic happens, but Dragon number 2 will go EDG's way.
And I feel like it goes way above developmental stages as well. It's about trust and trusting the players to perform and show up and play together. And so far, again, the mid jungle has been showing up for TT. You see Ucal, fantastic escape right there from the duo that has been terrorizing the map for EDG. Solokill and Jiejie. They're going to grab a flashback for a kill. You take those. Whoa.
Well, somewhere they know they can always punish is going to be Hoya this game. Ucal's going to try to fight onto Jiejie, doing a lot of damage there. Now TT have an angle. Depth charge flash there. Jiejie locked up. Trench line, max range. And Toto's made the magic engage. Wink is able to get them off of the follow-up, but he will give his life for it.
Yeah, Wink has to pay the sins for Jiejie walking too far forward, taking that kill under tower. 1-for-1 for both these teams. Again, TT are so willing to take the fight back on the other side of the map. Cryin is going to take an outer tower, which I'm assuming TT are going to reply with their own one towards the bot side of the map. Now, side lanes have been sort of opened up for both teams. However, mid lanes have barely been touched from both of these teams. Now let's watch this again. Oh, Hoya, he has been the target of bullying the entire game.
He got the TP from his team that time, though. It hasn't happened any other time. It actually worked out for them. I like that Solokill gets out with the TP. It's kind of sly, but yeah, the rest of the team committing over here.
And that was a great ult into a great hook. Leaf has to basically just sidestep that. However, I feel like Wink, if you're already gonna sacrifice, it might be worth it to eat the hook as well. There is a chance where Jiejie does not have to flash there. So if you're going to sacrifice support no matter what, might actually be more worth it. Allowing your jungler to get away with both summoners wasn't going to be the case, and Wink goes down. However, power spikes all across the board right here. 2 items, so the guys have 2 items for the Lee Sin.
Yeah. I will just say, though, TT's team fighting, the strength that we said they were going to have is going to be coming online here. We've already seen little bits and pieces of it. Beichuan getting pretty far ahead of Jiejie consistently here with that clear speed he has and invades. But we'll see how team fights stand now. And we've talked a lot about TT's style of composition moving thin. We've talked about picks for EDG most of the time. But now that we're getting to the point where these big team fights are going to be happening, what strengths do you feel like EDG have?
I feel like the front to back is pretty good, especially when you have a Kai'Sa. I always have in my mind Kai'Sa as an AD carry, that you can play into things like Olaf. They'll just have a W button and just keep going forward, basically. And Yone is kind of like one of those champions where you want to dive the backline. However, Kai'Sa is a very evasive AD carry. So I do like the team fighting power that EDG possesses right here. The front to back with a potential pick into the backline. So much zoning control through the Hoya as well for Kai'Sa, since it's a short-range AD carry to play these fights. However, the split push power that TT has with this Yone, when your strongest champion is the Skarner and he's still getting beaten up on his side lane, TT can just play this a little bit more slow and allow Ucal to take control of side lanes.
Solokill getting a lot of MR, but that means Ucal is going to be able to shred him heavily. Wink's going to try to bodyguard this because they are trying to accomplish the Baron. It's almost dead too. TT are in no position unless Beichuan can run over. He's got 4 legs, but he might not be fast enough. That's Jiejie securing it. Lilting Lullaby will only go on to Cryin as they get out alive. Leave sidesteps the Swirl Seed there too.
Hoya was showing bot lane with no TP. EDG knew they had the numbers needed. Again, this was the exact same way that they took mid lane tower tier 1 in game number 1 completely uncontested. EDG have been reading the map so well in this entire series. They spot Hoya down the bot lane and no, he has no TP. They rush Baron.
That's real tough, as now we got Dragon coming up in 35 seconds. Would be a soul point for EDG. It's a question of, can those item spikes come across? Well, TT are now on 2 items for both 1xN and Ucal. That shield bow is going to be massive for the team fighting potential of TT.
Ooh, and look at already Wink. He's already very deep into Beichuan's jungle. Has put down 3 very crucial wards, as well as some control wards in this mid lane bush. There is so much deep vision right here from the set of EDG. A big flank from the Skarner could be what enables Kai'Sa to dive into the backline and assassinate either the Varus or Lilia.
EDG have a ton of TP wards.
Mm-hmm.
All right, TT just going to start it up here. Wink, TP on the backside of the fight too by Solokill. TT realized they're in a lot of trouble here.
That's no longer a flank. If everyone's flanking, this is no longer a flank.
TT did have Hoya on the backside fight. He just backed for Riftmaker. He's going to TP to join the other team. They've got to get a big setup. Beichuan needs to get a big Lilting Lullaby, but we're going for the 50-50 first. TT don't really want it. Toto getting caught there as it's going to go down, and it goes to Beichuan of all people. The equalizer goes on the back line. They've already taken out one. They might get the other. Bait sealed on the Ucal, though. He's out of there, but EDG are cleaning house on the rest of the fight. Hoya burns leave on the other side of the wall, but EDG make it out with a couple kills. They will be delayed on their sole point.
Exceptional fight from EDG, and all the side lane action from Cryin, securing him the 2 items is what gave him all this damage to be able to come out ahead in this particular one. They do lose the dragon, but they do take that mid lane tier 1 that they've been looking for this entire time. They're gonna shove in that bot lane as well. And overall, pretty even in terms of a trade, but pretty heavily towards EDG when it comes to those team fights. You see stolen dragon right here from Lilia, but that Skarner runs in, allowing all this damage to come through. And for Cryin, he has enough range that the equalizer does not mean much for Hui. He can actually bypass the equalizer, doesn't have to get anywhere near. The one thing that I was actually really worried about was Leave's ultimate right here. I feel like it was a little bit preemptive. He had better targets that he could use that ultimate on later on to actually ace that fight for the set of EDG. But all in all, 4 members dead from TT. EDG take those.
And that's the thing about TT's comp is they've got to be able to layer things, right? You want to be able to get a Fate Sealed on top of an Equalizer with the Lilting Lullaby coming after that, right? But if you can't do that and it comes away in pieces, EDG's team fight is so much more consistent because they can just consistently put out damage on their target. Now, EDG using some of the strength from that fight to push up for vision down on this bot side while they get a push onto the tier 2 down here with Solokill.
Yeah, slaying that red buff as well. And this is the wonders of taking early towers, if you will. Well, I'm saying early is 24 minutes in, but this is the beauty of taking towers in general, especially that mid lane tier 1, is that you slowly bleed your opponents off of any resources. You take their jungle, you start shoving waves underneath the tower, they die underneath the tower, they don't necessarily get to CS them, so you slowly but surely start depriving them of experience and gold. However, Ucal on the top side is doing the exact same to EDG by taking down that top lane tier 2 tower. And somebody's gonna have to actually try and stop Ucal, because I feel like the only win condition from TT right here is if this Yone becomes an absolute demon on the Rift.
Yeah, he's about to hit 3 items, and that's really the gas moment, it feels like, for the pick. We'll see if he can get there and make that difference. We've seen it time and time again, it feels like. Ucal maybe the most prominent here recently, but it's been really, really nice to watch TT fight in this one. I think they're still down. It feels a little bad for TT's squad, but I think EDG have shown some lapse in the coverage that maybe we saw so consistently in that game number 1. It's still all eyes on Jiejie now that he's about to hit on that 3 items and the Lee Sin, a pivotal engage moment for them.
Yeah, I feel like also for TT, the Infinity Edge coming in from Yone is going to be huge. Almost level 16 as well. You're going to have 3 points on your ultimate. You're going to have your 3-item power spike onto your Yone. Yeah, hey, you mentioned 25 minutes in, and you get to win for free with Yone. It's already 26, and we're looking for the 3rd item power spike. The second it goes down, it could be huge. However, we're saying that 30 seconds. I don't think EDG want to allow the Yone to get to that 3rd item. You do have
just
what it takes.
Just,
You've got
hey,
3 items in your tank, you know?
You're not allowed.
It's fine. Just start Baron, you know? Just force them.
We do have Baron in about 20 seconds. Dragon in 1 minute and 10. Now, it's because of that denial that TT did in the last Dragon fight that makes these next couple decisions super important. Because on one hand, if you put that pressure over towards Dragon, you're going to give the Baron. Now, EDG don't want to give anything, and they're going to go to TP play onto Ucal. That one member we said is the saving grace. TT are scrambling to try to save him. He's going to Fate Sealed over onto Solokill. Solokill's going to impale him into the dirt. He's not down yet, but he's going down. The captain has gone down, and TT are looking to go with the ship here. That's the equalizer to get Beichuan out of there. But EDG have sprung the trap, and Beichuan has been scooped up into it. He's got those 4 legs. TT want to turn it. They want to move around. They realize that Leandri's burn is doing massive work. And TT make it out with cuts and bruises on Toto and Ucal.
Yeah, they managed to get Ucal down. 20 seconds, but he does have the TP if the Baron starts up, and TT can win enough time or bait enough time for him to get back up and be on his feet. But Beichuan being still alive doesn't allow necessarily EDG to start this Baron. Let's watch this again. Again, a very, very creative flank TP coming in from Solokill to try and get that one threat that we said from TT that was on the side lane. Again, you see the wombo combo. Skarner in the backline also enables Kai'Sa to dive in the backline. He has a dive buddy. And again, back onto live, level 16 on Ucal. I'm assuming there is the Maspin Infinity Edge in his inventory as well. And you mentioned how non-important the Dragon is anymore, especially when you can win a fight, take Baron, and end the game.
Now, I like me some line dancing. I could do some square dancing. Waltzing, also pretty good, but my favorite dance, the Baron dance. We'll see if TT want to get a little bit of pressure up towards that side, because EDG were trying to bait that side of the fight. But the big decision is, again, the return conversation I said earlier. Now, EDG are moving over with Solokill towards the Dragon. This gets so dicey, Trouble.
Absolutely, especially since Cryin is an absolute monster in these fights. That way,
They don't know. He's going over the wall.
No.
Excel's impact going to be Chains of Corruption back. 1xN still alive, but Chocho going to go down. 1xN going to flash out from the impale. Chocho's gone. That's a big engage, but here comes the fight from TT. No! The lilting lullaby does not do enough. Big equalizer from Hoya, but TT have lost their frontliners. They're going to have to try to fight this one out as EDG turn onto the big purple worm.
Jiejie with an incredible pick onto Beichuan. They know that this Lilia was flashless the entire time. Remember, the only reason they could not start Baron on their previous pick was because Beichuan was still alive. Jiejie, make sure to not make the same mistake again. And EDG walk away with a Baron and 1 kill.
Really good play decision making from Jiejie, one of the best. And as you said at the beginning of the day, we've been waiting to see a return to his former form with a team around him. Some of the changes have made it so for EDG, but this was the play from Solokill to start it off.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think Jiejie had many chances of surviving right there. He has a 6-level deficit onto this Skarner. However, this kick flash from Jiejie to make sure sending Beichuan towards his team was incredible. The split-second decision that won them this team fight and got them the Baron. Now EDG get to push through lanes, and I think Baron is so important for them as well because he gets to stop Ucal on a side lane as well. When you have a Baroned up wave, Ucal does not chew through it as quickly as he would if it wasn't there.
The only remaining member to have carved that star on the jersey of EDG. Here he is making the difference to put them up in positivity in their group to finish out round robin number 1. They've got a couple more engages to make, but they've got TT backs against the ropes.
Level 16 all across the board right here for EDG as well. 3 levels on that ultimate from Cryin. Death Cap completed that way. He's going to be hitting like a truck. And as you can see, EDG with a quick tempo plays. Cryin with the TP towards the top side of the map to push in yet another wave. However, now that you're splitting between top and mid, that bot lane wave is going to be a little bit left alone. So it's going to slow push in its own manner, if you will. EDG are going to put a lot of their resources towards the top side of the map to take the last outer tower remaining.
Oh my god, Beichuan just gets chunked by Cryin. They do have pressure from mid, from top. They're trying to break down this inhib turret in mid. Beichuan going to take another chunk from that Shattered Earth. Gocho looking for that engage, could not find it. Beichuan's just trying to get the wave clear here for them. But meanwhile, pressure has seated in the top side, meaning EDG take hold.
I don't fault TT here for looking for a pick. Cryin had to TP towards the top side of the map, meaning that if you start a fight, it's going to be a 4 versus 5 in favor of TT for just the time being. However, this is not going to be the case. TT had to reset due to them being chunked down.
They're going.
They're going. Mid lane inhibitor.
Lilting Lullaby with the Rumble ulti, with the Chains of Corruption. This is the combo we've been looking for. Can you get the damage in, Ucal? That's the big question. Impale goes down. EDG are fighting tooth and nail. They haven't gotten the damage dealers, though, and TT are going to survive for another minute or so.
Support for support. Wink took ages to die in this particular skirmish. It's going to be only 4 members for each team remaining onto the Rift, and EDG are going to call it off. TT, again, a little bit late to the trigger, but nonetheless, they do stop the siege from EDG. This is their remaining. This is what they have left. It's just their base. No outer towers, no nothing. It's going to be a dragon in 2 minutes time. But again, I feel like at this stage in the game, it feels like Barons are so much more important, or any objectives in general that will start a fight. And TT, this might be your last opportunity to potentially either let go of this dragon and allow EDG to take soul point and try to turtle yourself to potentially a death cap for your Lilia for a last fight at dragon. Sorry, at Baron.
I'll just say the way that we've set up EDG's team fighting, it is that front to back style. If Beichuan can get that combo off with the equalizer under it where it doesn't pop the sleep, you can do so much damage. You see when it's layered on top of each other, it looks so good. But yeah. I don't think EDG are going to give another easy fight like that another time, because they will have a lot of reactionary tools available with the composition they have, and Solokill getting the right impale makes the difference.
Yeah, and I love how you mentioned Solokill right here, because his flash is coming back up very, very soon. However, there is no flashless target on the side of TT, so that is their one Joker card that they can play if they want to in the next fight. I feel like if you're TT right here, you're really relying on having that death cap, which has just been completed on Beichuan. So important. There's so much damage coming in from this Lilia. So level 16 as well. 3 points onto that ultimate. And a lot of the carrying abilities have been laid upon Beichuan repeatedly with his farming junglers, the Karthus, the Graves, now the Lilia. So it is up to him to find that angle to make that Lilia shine in this game.
EDG just gonna crack down the open inhib.
Just take an inhibitor?
Because why not? Everybody from TT was out on the map securing vision.
They're gonna threaten base.
And now they maybe could just finish it here. But TT have some defense with Ucal and Hoya. Gonna burn that equalizer just to make sure they clear the way.
All right, and as you can see, bot lane 1xN, they're sticking around towards that dragon together with Beichuan. Now EDG are going to beeline for it. They're TPing everyone in.
Okay, we got the fight kicking off. Solokill's already there. He's not going to get the dragon. It goes to EDG, and that's 2 members gone like that from Beichuan and 1xN in the dirt. That means EDG are pushing for the base.
They're pinging the base. They're like, we have a wave mid lane. We are 4 versus 5. We've got all our crucial ultimates up and available. TT have no equalizer. What do they have left to defend?
EDG, they wanted to make a difference. They wanted the EDG refresh to mean something, and they are gonna end the first round robin in positive light. They're gonna move themselves to 2-1 off of a devastating crushing of ThunderTalk Gaming. Can you hear the thunder now? No! As the last turret falls, Solokill will make the difference on this starter, and the Nexus falls. That's a victory for Edward Gaming.
EDG rising from the ashes, I would say, of a very disastrous spring split. Coming back with a very clear mind, I want to say. Again, their games are slow, but they're always very calculated. A 180, if you will, of how the team was performing over in spring, where it was Jiejie running around trying so desperately to make plays happen.
Yeah.
Diving too deep, going for the unthinkable right here. He has so much backup. Solokill with another incredible performance in the top lane. The early lane swaps that are so calculated, taking early summoners, punishing, Cryin. Again, with an incredible performance, pinning Ucal in mid lane, which was that one pawn from TT that we said, hey, if Ucal can take control of that mid lane, maybe TT can unfold on the map. And EDG did not let them do that.